webcam in this app doesn't give you a great space
I
to sit
know.
in, doesn't it not?
I know.
And
There's a
you're
lot of
sort of,
things to change about this app.
yeah.
Okay, I'm just gonna light some sage really quick. How's the weather in Ireland at the moment? Is it chilly here?
It's chilly, but it's bright. And then we had a big storm. Did you know that?
You did you?
We had a massive storm, like red weather warning. It was 115 miles per hour wind,
Oh wow.
and people have been killed.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Trees falling on their cars, such and such. One man, a tree actually fell on top of him. I've trees falling in the garden and tiles off the roof and posts off the fence. But other than that, it's okay. But oh my, you want to see the forest beside me, Laura? It's so sad. You're driving along and you're looking in, and it's like there's so many trees down. So many. Maybe more than is standing. Pardon?
Yeah. The weather has been crazy. Yeah. I think that I don't know, maybe it's the shifting of the energies, maybe it's geoengineering, but it just doesn't seem normal, does it?
It's probably a bit of everything, really, isn't it?
Yeah, probably. Good morning, everyone. Do you see in the comments popping up? Just remember to click the top right button and then you can see everybody.
I always
Hi,
forget.
Jody. Hi, Bradley. Hi, Triana. Nice to see you, darling. Hi, Ariel. Hi, Michelle. Hi, Lori.
Comment.
Lori's. Hello. Good morning. Donna.
Hi, everybody.
Good afternoon, Raquel.
Oh my goodness, there's so many.
Wonderful.
So many straight away.
I know. I love these guys. They're all so wonderful to see in the morning. It's good to be with you guys. I think lately though, it's almost like this year has had several months already. It almost feels like we should be 5-6 months in, but we're only a month in. It's crazy, huh?
And then in the same breath, it's almost as if Christmas was yesterday. Yeah. It's just you have no concept of time at all this year. It really is crashing.
Yeah.
I think it's wonderful. I think it's great.
I've been calling it the quickening. the days don't feel 24 hours anymore. You know, I'm always running around like a headless chicken, and I've been staying up until like 1-2 in the morning too, as well. Like sleep doesn't come easily either.
I can't sleep. I'm not sleeping either.
What is that with the lack of sleep lately?
Yeah, and the heat flashes. You know. This time it's not my age, but it's actual, you know, like a spirit flushes right through you, you know, and it's so hot. And then when I do sleep, I'm journeying with Black Elk. We're all over the shop, everywhere, America, everywhere, Africa. Yeah. We've been spotted in Africa.
Well, it's funny you say that because I'm going to South Africa in 48 hours from now.
No.
Yeah,
gosh, I can't wait. I want to go. Can I fit in your suitcase?
Come on over.
Can I quickly fly over to Pennsylvania? Could you fit me in your suitcase?
Yeah, I can't wait. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah, it's on my go-to list. It's on my go-to list.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I'm taking Aiden to visit his dad. He was born in Cape Town.
Oh, right. Very nice.
Thank you, everybody, for asking how he's doing. He's feeling much better. He and I spent 2 hours at the doctor's office yesterday, just getting a doctor's note and a pneumonia check. But he's okay. He's it's the cough, eh? It's it's more than anything else. It's the coughing. So thank you guys for asking.
These viruses mean business, don't they? These viruses lately, and there's more and more of them, and they are designed and orchestrated to be, I suppose, a cull, if you like. But then on a spiritual level, they're actually. Black Elk would say to me that not to be afraid of them, because they're actually reforming our bodies. They're playing their part as well.
My guys said that. They said that I was purging stuff. They said, well, whenever you're sick, you're purging.
You're purging and you're pushing the evolutionary banner,
Yeah.
So that's kind of what they're doing too. So just give them space, let them be. Don't be afraid of them. Just roll with the punches and keep flowing.
Use it as an opportunity to rest.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And retreat.
I sat there making memes. I can't rest. I can't.
So
if
actually,
I'm laying down, I'm still not resting.
I was supposed to be resting all over through December, through January, but I actually then began to write another book.
Did you really?
Navigating the Spiritual Path. I'm kind of halfway through, so quite a bit written. It'll not be a big book. It'll be maybe this size. This is my fourth book. Well, this is what I wanted to talk to you today about, Lara, is the books. If
I have your book it's packed in my suitcase right now. I'm sorry I haven't had a chance to read it yet. I have been running around like a headless chicken. But for the 2 weeks that I'm away, I have opportunities.
It is a perfect holiday read.
I'm so excited.
It's a perfect
yours
holiday
is one of the
read.
2 books I'm bringing.
Yeah, because it's the first book is read very, very quickly.
Yes.
I mean, one person read it in 2 days.
Yes. The Two Roads is the one I was talking about. That one I don't.
The Two Roads. That's the first book.
Yes.
The Two Roads. The Two Roads.
Yeah.
And it's written with Nicholas Black Elk.
Beautiful book cover.
And then the second book, The Four Ascents, and it's written by his nibs as well, but more so. So there's more channeling in the second book. Third book is almost all channeling, and his nibs again, but there's also another guide of mine called Natarina, who's a star person who writes in it as well. And then this little book was written in 6 days, non-stop channeling, completely 100% channeled.
Wow.
I booked a little cottage in Donegal, Ireland, beside the sea, and I sat down the night before I began. My husband was with me, and he went home the next morning and left me in the cottage for a week. The night before it began, we were in the village, and I was asking Black Elk, well, what is this book about? Because I didn't know what it was about. I didn't know how to begin, nothing. And I had a beginning quote with every one of my books except for the fourth one. But then we looked up at the mountain and we saw this great big star on the side of the mountain, lit up, massive big. It wasn't a real star. It was a sculpture on the side of the mountain.
It's glowing in the sun.
Just in the moonlight. And it was
in the moonlight, yeah.
In the moonlight. And I heard the words, "You are beautiful exactly where you are." And so that was the first words. And I got up in the morning and I opened my computer and I started to type, "You are beautiful where you are," and then channeled straight through 6 days. And I was talking like this by the end of the 6 days. I was up in the clouds. Eyes were popping out of my face. And I was barely eating. But yeah, with all my books started like that. The first book is based on my journey, at my soul, which is Black Elk's soul. So it takes in my life and his life as well. And then it takes in his great vision and the lifetimes that he saw in that vision and what the vision was about, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
And so I sat down and I says, "Right, Black Elk, let's begin. What do I write?" And he said, "Rose was in the cupboard. She had been there all afternoon. No one was looking for her." So says a lot. And it's quite poignant. So I wrote it down and I started to cry. And I cried the whole way through the writing of that book. Because, Laura, my soul healed during the writing of that book. It was written from Black Elk. He was the main, I suppose, contributor to that book. And he, if I found myself going off on my own and writing from my memory, and it would get difficult. I'd be changing things, and then he'd say, "Just stop, take 20 minutes, and come back to me when you're more in line with
when you're more grounded."
Doing here.
You're going up too high. I'm going to ground you again.
Slap on the hand, But that was 2008.
Oh.
Wait till you hear this. Black Elk Speaks. Where have I got it? I've got it here, a copy here. This is a very old copy of Black Elk Speaks. If you guys can see that. It's by John G. Nyhart. He was the one that wrote it. But Black Elk Speaks was written out of a series of talks with Black Elk himself. And it's about his vision and the time that the Native Americans were having in America in those days, and what had happened to them being brought into the reservations, and Wounded Knee being the sort of the last kind of battle at the end of which a lot of people might say they gave up the struggle, and the last bands of Native Americans came into the reservations. But Black Elk had another vision several years after that. When John Nyhart came to see Black Elk was 63 or 66 at the time, he says. He was 66 years old and already a very old man, almost blind. He was old because of the weight of his vision that he felt that he hadn't done enough for,
Yeah.
He hadn't brought his people out of that awful situation. But he sees now that that's not what was meant to be. It was meant to be that they'd come back to the old ways now. It was meant to be that the great nation that he saw in his vision wasn't just his Lakota people, it was all nations throughout the world. So, I don't have to tell you, Laura, about what that prophecy actually
the
means.
rainbow prophecy.
Yeah.
As we hear about.
Yeah.
One of my favorites. I believe truly that all prophecies are self-fulfilling. If you truly believe this is what we're going to manifest, then you put yourself into that reality.
100%. Plus, I'll add to that this particular prophecy, which is the prophecy told by avatars throughout history, is something that's in your heart and soul right now. Yeah. And it's a prophecy that belongs to all of us. And it's not about Black Elk, and it's not about Jesus. And it's not about White Buffalo Calf Woman. It's about you and me and everybody. It's about everybody. We all have that prophecy. So anyway, John Nyhart came to see Black Elk, and he was 66 in a little cabin, up in a place called Pine Ridge in South Dakota, in the reservation. And they went on a day trip, and Black Elk to the Badlands, and Black Elk climbed the mountain. They all climbed the mountain where Black Elk had his great vision. He was standing there in his great vision when he saw this wonderful hoop of all nations of the world, all one father, one mother, a great big flowering tree sheltering everybody, the Sherpa system, and it was flowering. And it was sheltering everybody as their children, the great parents. And he saw that then when he was standing there. So he climbed up and he stood in that spot, and he dressed himself in the way he was dressed in the vision, all painted red. He wore his red long johns because there was girls there and he couldn't take them off. So he wore his red long johns. And he painted lightning strikes and thunderbolts and things like that on his long johns, because that's the way he was painted in the vision.
Yeah.
and he held his powers up that he had in the vision. And he cried out to the thunder beings, which was the gods that gave him the vision. And he cried out to them, and he says to them, if any power in my vision still is true and still is within me, let it be known, let it grow like the flowering tree and sprout into that wonderful prophecy. And do you know what? Immediately after praying this, it was a beautiful, beautiful sunny day, blue skies. But immediately after praying that, there came a little rain cloud and just came over Black Elk, and the rain came down on top of him, and then it went away again. Isn't that just amazing? Amazing. So Black Elk Speaks was written, and then in 1950, Black Elk was dying, and he knew he was dying. And he said to his family, he says, if there's still power left in my vision, then you'll see a sign in the sky tonight. And in the sky that night, Black Elk passed away, and they all were awake in his body. And in the sky that night was like this lights, strange lights. And there was something that looked like the infinity symbol that seemed to be on its side, you know.
Wow.
And Black Elk says that, or many people thought that this means that it means the infinity symbol. This is what it was, 2 knots lying on its side. And Black Elk says, no. Yes, it is that too, because that is the energy of what he's all about. It's infinity. That's the energy of his teachings. But that vision in the sky actually meant that Black Elk will speak again in 2008. There was a no and an 8, the infinity symbol.
Wow.
And I started writing Black Elk. I started writing The Two Roads in 2008. Not only that, Lara, but there was a woman in Missouri. I think about 20 years ago or so it was, maybe something like that, maybe about 20 years ago. And she was the granddaughter of John Nyhart, who wrote Black Elk Speaks. She was the daughter of John Nyhart, who wrote Black Elk Speaks. And she was a great medium. And she used to do the table, you know, the table they'd all sit around the table and the table would rise up and all that kind of thing. She was one of those mediums. And in her youth, she had been doing a seance when Black Elk and her father and her mother and her brother and Ben Black Elk and Lucy Black Elk, they all came through, along with someone else. I can't exactly remember who he was, some friend of theirs. And they all came through, and they began to talk about the vision, and they began to say many things that will come true on earth. And these things have taken place till date. And one of the things was that in 1978, there would come a child that would bring the energy of Black Elk into more books, that there would be more books and there would be a movie about this vision. And I had actually about 20 years ago got in touch with this lady that lives in America, and her mother was the one that was or was her grandmother? Her grandmother was the one that was the medium, and she and I spoke back and forth emails for about 2 years maybe. And at one particular time we were talking about her mother and the book that she wrote, The Great Adventure, and that it was all about the seance and what had come through Black Elk. It had all written into transcripts, you see. So a book was written and it's called The Great Adventure. And in that it talks about the white woman, or the white woman that would come forwards, and this would bring Black Elk's energy into more books and a movie and stuff. And her mother, her name was Alice Nyhart. She told her, she says, that girl that you're writing to, that's her. Isn't it amazing?
Coming full circle.
Can't make up these things. Now, in 1978, it was 1978 when she was told this, when she was having the seance, And at 1978, I was 13 years old and going through the worst trauma of my life, and actually shutting down and going into, as Black Elk called it, the wilderness, until I opened up again at 36. You know, so it's an incredible story. Black Elk's soul, my soul, an incredible story in his lifetime and in this lifetime. And so the Two Roads is that story, and bringing his life together with mine, and the vision, and what's actually going to happen. And then the other two books are carrying on from that. So the next book, the Four Ascents, there was two roads in Black Elk's vision, and they crossed over each other. You know, like the two road symbol there. Can you see it?
Yeah.
So, you know, it's like a medicine wheel, isn't it?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
So I call it the two road symbol. I think I talked to you about that before, but these are the two roads that was in his vision. This is what he saw first. He saw the hope of his people in his village, and he could see one teepee in the village. And when he went into it, there was a child lying there sick and nearly dead. And that was him. That was his body that he was viewing from the spirit world. And he was having an out-of-body experience, you see, a near-death experience. It lasted 12 days. But for him, it seemed like it lasted for 2 days. But it was really 12 days. Because, of course, spiritual time is far quicker than physical time.
Yeah.
So he saw this hope, and he saw the two roads. And then when he went into the center, he started to rise up from that, and he rose up 4 ascents. That's what he calls it in the book. So in the vision. So this is why our second book is called The Four Ascents, because it's all about what the Four Ascents meant, what they mean, what they meant to Black Elk, what they meant to me, and what they mean for everybody. Because, of course, our story is not individual from your story, not 100% individual, because this prophecy is something that we all share. And you can actually see in Jesus Christ's story that walking up the hill of Calvary and the two roads, dying on the two roads, or almost dying on the two roads, you know, whatever you believe. I believe almost dying on the two roads. That he only appeared dead, you know, and that was purposeful. But if you take that story too, and the way that he falls 3 times, and all of that, and the condemnation to death, and the resurrection, and the ascension into heaven, and all of that stuff, it's Black Elk's vision. And not only is it Black Elk's vision, but it's the vision of a lot of holy men and women throughout history that we haven't even heard of. And it's the prophecy that's in everybody's soul. We all are doing this. We're all doing it, you know. We are the Christ. Yeah, we are the Avatar.
She said we are the Christ. Did you guys see her light just go ping? So much light. Honestly, it's been a little distracting because I keep seeing like rainbow colors, and like you have all these lights coming up. And as soon as you said that, your light just went ping, like it just went like 10 times brighter.
That happens when the passion starts to flow in me. You know, I get so passionate when I'm talking about Black Elk, and I get that passionate I used to get this passionate when I was talking about God, because I used to be such a preacher. I had to have that knocked out of me.
I think Black Elk is showing off today because he's got all these
Black Elk likes to show off.
Hi, Black Elk. It's wonderful to have you around.
Would I tell you about? Oh, hold on. Oh gosh, he's laughing his head off. Yeah, go on ahead. Would I tell you about the biggest show off he's ever done through me? We were in Siberia, and we were there for, how long were we there? 4 days, and it was scorching hot weather. It was like 40 degrees centigrade. You know, it was really, really hot. And it was the last evening before we'd leave the next morning. And I was talking to a lady and two others, women, Marianne, and we were talking to this other lady. And she didn't get the whole I work with the thunder beings energy. She just didn't get it. She didn't get Black Elk. She didn't get the True Road. She didn't. She just wasn't really investing in it. And the passion in me was sparking. Like I was everywhere. and I get faster when I'm passionate. I talk faster. So Black Elk was talking about the thunder beings. 20 minutes later, Lara, there came the biggest thunderstorm ever. I have never seen a thunderstorm as big as that. And it was so bad that the tents were all trampled to the ground and everybody huddled into this yurt, big yurt that was there. It was like something out of war, you know, that World War II, everybody like some kind of a doomsday thing. And we were refugees and we were all in this yurt. And the woman came up to me and she went, I hear you, Black Elk. He loves to do things like that. So thunder and lightning follows me everywhere. Any big event in my life, I get a storm. I'll get a bit of thunder.
What are the Thunderbirds? I've actually found 3 clients now that have one as a gatekeeper, protector, or what?
I kind of there's see the Lakota have. I don't want to go into too much into Lakota religion because to be honest, really, you know, I shouldn't really be talking about Lakota religion. I'm an Irish woman. You know, I was born Catholic. I was Christian. You know, I'm not any longer. But I'm not Lakota either, and I'm not Black Elk.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So you know, so I have a lot of respect.
You call it religion, but they're real because I'm.
Yeah. Oh gosh, yes, of course.
So, I mean, it's
the angels that the Christians talk about are real as well. You know, and well, the saints are man-made, of course. You know, but so the thunder beings, yeah. They're called the Wakinyan, the thunder beings themselves. The Lakota have names for all different kinds of people, like the stone people. Are they
galactic? Are they elemental?
They're elemental. I would describe them as elemental. Yeah, okay. They're fire. They're fire and water.
You get a lot of different kinds of elementals, and you get them a broad spectrum, and there's some that are extremely powerful. And that's what I was kind of assuming.
They are elemental gods, if you like, because the Lakota, they have 7 gods, and you know, 7 sort of selections of gods, and the Wakinyan are gods, you know. So when Black Elk had his vision, he saw the thunder beings coming on horses. You know, there was 12 white horses and 12 black horses and 12 sorrel horses and 12 so black, white, red, and yellow. The yellow ones, what do you call yellow horses?
The Palominos.
Palominos, yeah. So there was 12 of each, and they came from the directions, but they were all thunder beings, you know.
Yeah.
That came to him because, you know, in those days as well, in the Lakota tradition, if you had a vision and the thunder beings came to you, that's a lot of power. You have to respect the energy of the thunder beings. So, you know, you're almost afraid to carry that power.
One of the people, for example, that I checked that had one of these as a guardian or gatekeeper or protector or whatever you want to call it, he was from Sweden. So I don't think
you're from Ireland.
You know what I mean? Like you.
I would never have sort of seen a particular Thunderbird as one of them's called a Thunderbird. I have never seen a particular Thunderbird as a totem of mine.
They gave themselves.
Yeah. I just knew that I had an affinity with the storms, with thunder and lightning. And And when I talk about Thunder people and that, I'm doing that for the benefit of Black Elk, you know. But I never portray myself as Native American. I wouldn't do that. I learned very, very early on when I first came online and put my first book out there in 2009, Lara, I learned very quickly that you must have respect for other people's customs and traditions and religions.
Absolutely.
That you can't, is it what you call perpetrate it or something? I think the word is
appropriate.
You can't appropriate. Yeah, you can't appropriate that. That was a new word for me then.
I think though, I realize saying this as a white person is sometimes it does jade people the wrong way, but I think that there is a line of respect that gets crossed. If you respect it, if you truly embrace it as if it's your own culture, then it's completely different to you, running around for Halloween wearing, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's the respect, it's the love, it's the admiration, it's the understanding of how special you are to be able to have that close look that a lot of people don't really get. It's you can truly embrace anything. In fact, I was Native American in a past life. You saw I had that one past life where I was killed on horseback. All of us have been at least some sort of indigenous person at least one point in our past.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So and Native American souls of the past are very many white women now.
Well, they're going to heal. And part of the healing is being the person that you was your perpetrator. Because a lot of times we wear that shoe on the other foot, so to speak,
Absolutely. It's like, yes, it's like you're my mother now in this lifetime, but the next lifetime I'll be your mother. I'll be your mother. It's kind of like that. And Black Elk and I, he was male, Lakota. I'm female, Irish. Next lifetime, believe it or not, I'm have to come back again. I thought I wouldn't, but I have to. So next lifetime, I'm coming back as male Lakota, and be part of the whole, the old ways coming back, which would be wonderful, absolutely wonderful for me to experience, for any Lakota man to experience. That'll be amazing, But they're already coming back.
We're not more understanding about culture when we arrived here. Why we were so trying to conform everybody to be like us. When really we should have been conforming to be more like them. You're obviously more
very comfortable as a Catholic, Black Elk was very comfortable as a Catholic. He didn't want to convert for a long time, but then he was almost forced. He was doing a healing one time in somebody's teepee, and a priest friend of his was listening outside and came in and grabbed Black Elk and threw away his implements and got him outside and by the throat like that and swore at him and told him how sacrilegious he was being and all the rest,
That guy probably had a demonic attachment, just saying.
Oh, God.
So it's ironic, eh?
Dare I say it? Yes, I dare. That the Catholic Church is bloody chock full of them.
Oh, I know. Believe me, I know. Oh, yeah.
But so after that, Black Elk decided to convert, but he never 100% converted. He practiced both ways, but he was very comfortable with Catholic religion. Once he discovered about Jesus and his story, he actually recognized his vision in Jesus's story. So he saw Jesus as kind of like a brother to him, and a spiritual brother to him. So I think that was a huge insight for Black Elk at that time, in the 1930s, a huge insight. Oh, it wasn't even in the 1930s. That would have been in the 1910s that he converted.
There's a lot of spirit guides that are Native American, and they're all over the place. They're everywhere. I've met people in India that have Native American guides. It's like
I know.
They're all over the place being wonderful soul guides, you know.
When I was a child, of course, I've already told you that I used to go to the spirit world and be with Black Elk. And that's gone on since I was a baby. What was I going to say? But whenever Halloween would come around and things like that, you know, I was always the one that had to have the Native American Indian mask. Isn't it terrible that there were Native American Indian masks? You wouldn't allow that now. No, now they're all vampires and what do you call it, zombies and things like that, and witches.
I think it used to be
when I was a child, you got a Native American Indian mask. It's terrible, isn't it? Just terrible. I've got a photograph of me wearing
one. The world, they were considered to be healing. They're part of ceremony for that reason. You're bringing the unconscious conscious, bringing the shadow to the light, so to speak.
They never truly lost their powers. They never truly lost their magic and their love for Mother Earth and their connection to Great Spirit and that. They never really lost that. A lot of them were converted, yes, but in the 1970s, Ben Black Elk was privy to it as well, as long as another man called Eagle Feather. And they actually brought a lot of the old ways back, including the Sundance. They brought that back and made it legal again, or got it to be legal again. So that was great. But it's still not 100%, but an awful lot of the Native Americans are back where they were, and the rest of the world is right there with them, because we know that they had something. We know that their traditions there was a lot of truth in them, more so than in Christianity, I think.
I'm going to write down a documentary for you guys to check it out. It's called Kymatica. It's a documentary on YouTube. I just spelled it so you guys could find it. It is phenomenal. Kymatica goes into how the indigenous tribes all over the earth were there to strengthen all the energy lines around the earth, and how they healed the earth this way.
Absolutely.
Thousands of years. This was part of, all of these cultures.
I don't think we'd be here without them.
Similar things. Strengthening the ley lines and bringing all this energy back to Gaia and to heal and ground the Earth's energy. And to bring in all this cosmic energy and to ground that. And then they were all murdered.
I must look at that Climatic. It begins with a K.
Yeah, this one right there. Yep, Kymatica.
I must look at that as well.
But it is phenomenal, and it discusses all about how they changed the way that the Earth's the energy flows, because when they killed all of those indigenous tribes all over the world, that stopped. The healing stopped. And then we wonder why all of the pain and the suffering, and why the earth is struggling, and why so many earthquakes and volcanoes and all these things. But it all gets linked. It's all linked together, 100%.
And no disrespect to the Jewish people. I mean, what they experienced was just unthinkable.
But
the Native Americans went through that too.
Everybody.
And the Irish people. Yep. You know, my own ancestors starved to death because the English settlers wouldn't.
Oh, they call that the potato famine. Don't even get me started about that. I'll go off for an hour about just the famine that wasn't actually a famine. That was literally English stealing all the food.
It was terrible. It was just
awful.
And
then they blame it on the
Native Americans, the Lakotas, and there was some other branch as well. I can't remember who that tribe was, but they came to our rescue. They sent money and food, grain and stuff like that. It was all sent to Ireland, shipped to us.
Yep, 100%.
To help us out. We probably wouldn't have survived without them. And Irish people do see America almost like a sister country, you know.
Well,
because there's so many Irish people.
I was going to say, you see that in March, for St. Patrick's Day. Everybody's Irish, you know.
I know. I witnessed that personally myself. this last maybe 30 years since St. Patrick's Day, I don't even bother going to the pub.
Well,
I used to go to the pub and stay there all day.
I went to Dublin, and it was one of the most disappointing trips I'd ever had. And everybody's like, "Why were you so disappointed?" I was like, "Because there was no Irish people." They were like, "What do you mean there's no Irish people in Dublin?" I'm like, "It's like Little America."
Uh-huh.
Irish people I saw were working cash registers and driving taxis. I didn't work in the pubs. They, everybody walking around was American. I'd be like, "How do you find this?"
I'm Donegal in the north of Ireland. All filled with American people.
I'm so sorry.
Back to food I'm glad. I wonder, did you come to Dublin during one of the St. Patrick's Day parade? Because I was in it one year. Oh God, maybe about 17, 18 years ago. And oh God, it was a laugh. It really was. I felt so proud to be Irish that day. So proud. But hey, you don't have to be Irish to be Irish. Isn't that?
I was going to say, everybody's usually got
to be Irish to be Irish
DNA somewhere.
Oh gosh, what were we even talking about?
I honestly do love studying the cultures and the histories. It doesn't matter to me whether or not I'm part of the culture. I want to learn everything about all the different cultures.
I also like Buddhism. I love that culture.
Love Buddhism.
Although I don't know an awful lot about it, but what I have read about it and heard about it, it just rings so true to me.
You'll have to check out our podcast tomorrow. We're talking with Siddhartha tomorrow on the podcast. Yeah. Siddhartha himself, we speak to at least once a month on the podcast. He comes
that's
in.
Great. I must do.
He's channeled through a woman named Angelica Blackmoon. And all of these phenomenal teachers from across history are still teaching.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't retired.
Well, I am going to retire.
They're still
I'm already semi-retired, but I'm kind of hoping that I'll write enough books so that nobody needs to actually talk to me.
As you get to that point where you're like, all right, I've taught enough.
Oh, well, Laura, you do get to a point on your spiritual journey, and I'm sure a lot of people are going to agree with me here. You do get to a point on your spiritual journey when you realize it's okay. You can just be yourself. You can just live your own small life and be Nana and raise your family and enjoy yourself. You don't have to be
At what
spiritual.
age can we start that? Because I'm ready for that now.
Well, I'm almost 60 and I'm only starting it now.
Darn, I got 20 more years.
but you reach, I think, a state of waking up when you realize that you didn't really need to wake up at all. And you just as soon go back to sleep because it doesn't matter. You are what you are and nothing changes that. No amount of stories lived changes that. So anyway, listen, this is my fourth wee book and it's amazing. And I wrote it in 6 days and I had to come home and I had to do a lot of editing because the spelling and everything was all over the place. And I was reading it as I was editing it, of course, and I was saying, "Oh, I'm not sure about this. Oh, I don't know. Oh gosh, will it change that?" And of course, the word from Spirit was, "You don't change anything." There's my whole Spirit team. It was involved in writing this book. Don't change a word. So I didn't change a word, and now when I read this book, I'm already past it. I'm already past that wisdom. It goes that fast now. People are waking up now and they're going, my goodness, right into the fifth dimension.
Yes.
Took me 20 years, but no, they're coming in a couple of months.
Well, the world has changed a lot in 20 years, and the energies have changed a lot. In fact, I even spoke with the Soul Guide a couple months ago about this, and he says if you only saw the way that your vibration has changed in the last year, if only you knew how much things have evolved in just 1 year, you'd be astounded. And I think that's the energy evolving.
I think you don't you don't really see it unless you look at yourself from 20 years ago and think, oh my goodness, I don't even recognize that woman. No, it's just crazy. Who was she? You know, things that I wrote, you know, because I've written my whole life, I've been writing stories, but, you know, things that I wrote, poems, short stories, you know, things that I've written down in my diaries and things like that, you know, I'm like, oh, God bless you, darling. I just want to pick her up and give her a big hug and say, you're all right. It's okay.
But you can do that. You can send love to your younger self, especially in moments when something pops up in your head, right? It's almost like your younger self is experiencing that at that moment. When a memory pops up in your mind that you haven't thought about in 20 years, you could be tapping into a younger version of yourself energetically. So send that love to yourself always.
Yeah, I do.
Yes,
absolutely. I agree with you. I agree with you there. Definitely.
I think it's very healing.
Even Ho'oponopono is fantastic. Everybody knows what that is. Yeah. But I'll say, you know, I'll have a memory and I'll say, oh, bless you, you know, bless you. I understand. It's okay. Look, you're with me now. I'm here. I'm not leaving you. You shine. You're beautiful. Everything's perfectly okay. I say things like that to myself, you know.
Yeah.
And looking in the mirror and saying that I love you, you know, which is hard for some people at the beginning. It was definitely hard for me. It took me a long time before I could look at myself in the mirror, never mind say I love you. You know, I say it now.
So what was your breakthrough
wonderful.
Moment? What was the moment? What was your breakthrough moment? The moment that really took you above and beyond that?
But above and beyond the sort of not
the understanding of
your,
going,
that I'm beautiful. Oh gosh, I don't know. Because it happens. Oh, I do know. Black Elk just reminded me. Did you ever hear of the book, The Disappearance of the Universe, Gary Renard?
No.
Oh my God. The Disappearance of the Universe was second on the Amazon bestsellers list. And first was Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, I think it was at that time.
Okay.
Third Harry Potter was top seller on Amazon list. Second was The Disappearance of the Universe. It's a global phenomenon, that book. And I actually met Gary Renard because I had a vision of him and I contacted him and he said that, yes, he was very much aware of it. So we arranged to meet and it was a wonderful meeting. But I read that book. I didn't read it. I listened to it on an audio. It was the only book that I've ever listened to on audio. And I don't like listening to audios. I like reading. I like books. I love books, especially hardback books. I like to see them on the shelf. I like to smell their pages. You know, I'm a book person. But this, I was told by Spirit, by Black Elk, to listen. And I listened the whole way through. And whenever that was, it was finished, I lay back on my bed and I heard my own voice coming to me. I love you.
Aww.
And I knew it was me that was saying it from somewhere.
Your future self, it could be anywhere. You never know where it's coming from.
And I think that was my breakthrough moment, that when I realized, actually, I am perfectly perfect, exactly as I am right now.
Yes, you are.
Mm-hmm. And the way I was 40 years ago when I was trying to kill myself, I was perfect exactly as I was.
Yeah.
Didn't need any self-judgment whatsoever, but I got bucket loads of it.
Our harshest critic right here is ourselves. Every time. Mm-hmm. This is why we're the only ones that truly have the right to judge ourselves in the life review. We judge ourselves. There's not some, Saint Peter or whoever that says, oh, you can't repent, It's you that decides what you do.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure you are the same as me. You know that everybody in the world that ever was, ever is now, or ever shall be is an aspect of you, your own consciousness. So
we are one.
So exactly. St. Peter is our gatekeeper, I suppose. Gatekeeper through the ninth gate into the celestial worlds, into the heaven worlds. Yeah. You know what the ninth gate is?
Catch your vibration, yeah?
He's like, the ninth vortex into 10, 11, 12, those celestial realms where you have no body, where everything disappears, and there's just celestial light.
Well, they say that we are multidimensional. So part of you, it does exist in that light at all times. Your multidimensional self.
I love talking to you, Lara.
I love talking to you.
Yeah, it's great. I love the mirrors that happen when you're talking to someone like you.
Aww.
Those mirrors are fantastic. Thankfully, there's no nasty mirrors.
Well, they have their roles to play as well,
They have their roles to play as well. I just observe them. I witness them. I'm not silly enough to think that all of these things are happening around me and I don't have any part in it. So what I do, and I think, guys, listen, I think this, because a lot of people ask me lately, how are they going to overcome these relationship issues that they still have, because they know they're 5-dimensional frequencies, but they're still surrounded by 3rd-dimensional frequencies. So how do we overcome that? Well, listen, I don't think there's any big magical activation or clearance in this. I think it's very simple. And this is what my guides always got me to do. Take a 12-hour vow of silence, or 24, whatever you're comfortable with. I started with a 12 and then I went on to 24. Take a vow of silence and don't avoid your relationships. Go on your normal day. Mm-hmm. And when you feel your ego wanting to react to something, you have to be silent, you see. So that gives you the space to watch it, to look at why you want to react like that, and the space to say, it's all right, it's okay, you don't have to react, it's absolutely fine. You're safe, you're this, you're that, you're the other. Yeah? So that's great for you. Plus, it gives you the opportunity to watch other people without butting in and reacting, and then the whole thing blows up. So it gives you the opportunity to watch them, to give them space to fizzle out as well. So they react, they come with something, maybe accuse you or something, or start, well, where's my this, and you're always doing this, and something like that. And you just watch, and I'll point, because he knows I'm not allowed to speak. So, and I'll just look, I'll just watch him, and I'll watch his ego, the way that it burst out, and the way that it's calming down now. And that just gives him the space to do that as well. So I think it's very, very telling. When you take a vow of silence, you see so much, you understand so much, and you can change.
I had an easier time not eating food for 13 days than I had a time staying silent for 3. Because I went to Peru and I did ayahuasca, and that was part of their preparation for the ayahuasca was 3 days, no talking.
And no eating.
Oh, no, you didn't eat either. No, you didn't. No, you didn't eat. You had no food, no talking for 3 days.
But you had water.
Oh yeah. Well, we had volcano water. How lovely. But, yeah. But seriously, that was the hardest thing I'd ever done, was staying silent for 3 days. And I did not stay silent for 3 days. Who are you talking? Who are we talking here? Of course I didn't.
It's the hardest when you wake up in the morning and somebody says something to you and you've just momentarily forgot you're supposed to be silent.
So we were always just whispering to each other, like, you know what I mean? Like, try not to get caught.
I find the silence easy. I do find it easy to do that. It's easier now because my ego doesn't push me as much as it does. It still reacts, of course. And I react to something and I'll go, oh God, I really want to say that. I really want to say it,
When you start doing charades, you're like,
and I'm going, shh. But
we talk with our eyes and stuff as well. Like
bad,
all I have to do is look at Aiden and be like, and he's like, you know what I mean? Like you can say a lot with just a look. It does make you get
my
more
husband
clever,
looks at me sometimes and goes, I know what that means. I know. But yeah.
Michelle says, yeah, I'm not going to fast from talking
all the time. What is Michelle saying?
Yeah, I'm not fasting from talking, she said.
Well, Michelle, it's much easier than fasting from food, let me tell you. I couldn't go hungry for
depends on how much you like the food and you like the talking.
Oh God, I couldn't go hungry. When I'm starving with hunger, I get hangry, you know, irritable. And I'm like, give me food. No, I don't like doing that.
But I really do feel like there's so many ways that we come back to ourselves, you know, and the daily grind does make that difficult. So stepping outside the norm, no matter how you can do it, even if it's just spend 3 days in nature, spending most of your time out in nature, that is a way of, you know, resetting yourself.
Yeah.
It's all
Everybody has their own way. Everybody's got their way that works best for them. For me, it's just in the moment, just silence. I love silence.
Mine's to get off social media. I have to be on here 16 hours a day for work most of the time. So unplugging is my ability to take a break. That's what I'm going to do in South Africa, is just not look at my phone for a few days. I can't wait.
Well, that's difficult. Well, Lara, I was like you, you know, before lockdown, before the whole epidemic thing started, I was as busy as you. And then during lockdown, I got even busier. It was horrendous because I dropped all the prices of my activations and stuff like that because people weren't making as much money. So I thought, you know, now that they're staying at home, it's the best time for them to work on themselves. So I made it sort of everything more available. So it made me even more busy. I was 24/7 working. It was ridiculous. I was taking the laptop to bed with me first thing in the morning, right straight back on. You know, my husband was cooking. It was horrendous, and I got sick, and because COVID made me sick. So then I had to step back and I had to rest. And now I've cut down on my workload so much that I'm probably doing about 30 hours a week, which to you would seem like nothing.
I do 30 hours in 2 days, it feels like.
Yeah, probably, maybe more. I'm working maybe about 30 hours a week, and the rest is just being Nana, being a granny.
Oh, see, that's the best part of retirement, you know, because even as a parent, you don't really get to enjoy it that much.
Oh, you don't.
You really don't.
Too much responsibility.
I've noticed that, like, even my mom shit about this. I'm like, when are you going to retire? She's like, what do you mean? And I was like, because she's got all her horses and all of her hobbies. So she's always busy. And I'm like, when are you going to, you know, hang out with us more? But some people, it's just their life to be busy.
I can't imagine me never, you know, connecting with light workers around the world, because for a large part of the time, that's my life's blood. You know, if I can't connect with light workers like yourself, I'll go quietly crazy, you know, because the people around me and my family are not spiritually minded, you know, although I would say my husband is pretty awake, but he's not interested in spiritual matters, but he's still awake. And my son's awake, but he is science to the bone. He's like a wee Buddha. But he's science. That's okay for me because I like science. I relate to science. You know, a 16-year-old comes to see me. You know, I'm not talking about all God and light and all the rest. I'm talking about physics with him. You know, so, and he can relate to the spiritual path through science, you know. Yeah. But so many teenagers are absolute wizards at science now. The technology's coming in, you see.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the clean energy and all the rest.
Your technology, and you're already behind when you graduate, you know, because there's always something more. As soon as you think you know everything, there's already being updated.
I don't think the electric cars are cutting it just yet, but I think the hydrogen energy is will be great.
I'm well aware that we could all be driving cars that run on water, and it bothers me that we're not. So
I'm actually thinking that, you know, in the past humans have done, and that probably still maybe quite a distant future, hundreds of years from now, I think we'll be using frequency power as well, again, sound to move matter.
Nikola Tesla believed, even he lived 100 years ago, and he believed you could send matter the same way we send faxes. You could teleport consciousness from one location to another.
Oh gosh,
so until we have teleports, I still
I can actually operate.
No, they're real. They're totally real.
Apparition. I was taught the apparition.
Like, what technology? Like, does this actually exist? And they're like, yeah. And I said, well, who's got that technology? They're like, Alpha Centauri. I'm like, all right, well, here we go. Let's go to Alpha Centauri.
It's like those secrets are still being held in captivity, you know, but they're coming out, they're coming out. We've all got the codes to awaken them within our own brain.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And I already practice apparition, and I actually apparated into a woman's kitchen in America one day, and she was at the fridge. She turned around, and she saw me, and she dropped her milk. She dropped her milk. She was like, oh. As soon as she saw me, it disappeared. Oh God! Oh, it's great. It's all good. It's all good crack, sure. But, you know, it's okay just to be heavily grounded in the body as well.
That's what that's all about, right? That's what the guides keep saying, you know, enjoy your human life.
Enjoy your human life, because you will be in light form for eternity.
Exactly.
And you will crave to feel matter again, crave to feel emotions, even fear. You'll crave to feel it. That's what Black Elk keeps saying.
Yeah.
Oh, you know, he's very funny. Ben's even funnier, but Black Elk is very funny. And he's like me, really witty remarks, you know. I went for a walk in that recent snow recently, and I was freezing, and I was really complaining about the cold. And Black Elk said, oh, you know nothing about it until you have snow in the teepee. You know, so I would say that's cold. That is cold.
I can only imagine. Yeah. Everybody's wondering how you teleported yourself. That was through astral projection.
No, it wasn't through astral projection. No, it was through bilocation. It was. What do I say? It was about, oh gosh, I don't know how many years ago, maybe 10 years ago, that I was invoking Mother Mary to teach. It was maybe 15, 16 years ago. It was a long time. To teach me the true meaning of the Holy Trinity, you know, and she did at that time. But I went down to a place called Knock in County Mayo in Ireland. That's one of the places where Our Lady was supposed to have apparition. Mother Mary was supposed to have appeared there, and I went down there, and when I'd left the place, we were driving along, and I turned my head towards this kind of like a mountain, but there was a wee, some kind of a wee grotto or something in there, and I says to my husband, I want to go down there. So we went in, and there was this huge big grotto, and I went around behind it. I just felt that, and I went around behind it. And there was a wee statue of Our Lady. And I knelt down in front of it, and she started to talk to me, and she told me that she would teach me how to bilocate. But she wanted me to teach me that because it was partly Padre Pio's energy as well. He's one of my guides. And he started working with me around that time, about 16 years ago as well. So, and he bilocated. He was always bilocating, but he wasn't really aware that he was doing it, you know.
Yeah.
But so she wanted me to learn this, and it took me so long, for months, practice. I wasn't getting any results whatsoever. I would just astral project. I'd find myself out of body, but I wasn't where I wanted to be, and I was only in spirit. I was only in the astral.
So
I wasn't even coming close to physical. You see, the apparition is not your physical body. It's an electronic double of your energy field, including your physical body. It's an electronic double. So what you have to do is you almost have to depixelate your body, and you move. If you ever see the idea of a what do you call it, a starship, a UFO moving across space, it goes up like diagonally, like this here, and then it'll go straight up. It'll go up and disappear. Do you ever see that depiction of it? So it goes up like this, and then it goes like that. It disappears. So when it's going up like this, you see your astral projection, right? And you're depixelated. And whenever you go like this, you move through the ninth gate, and then you disappear. So you're going up into the stars. You can't see the form up there of star people or starships or whatever. You know, it's just space. Right. And fire and whatever, you know. So this is what's happening to you. You go like this, and then you go, and you come. When you go like that, you're going vertical, and you're twisting around. You feel you are, but you have no form. But it's only the part of you that is still trying to be conscious, that thinks that you have form, you know, that thinks that you're spinning real fast. It makes you feel so sick. And then when you reach the place that you want to operate to, you start to come down again. You're spinning the other way. You start to come down again. And then you suddenly appear, and you're taking on your pixels again as you come down. And then you're about 4 feet off the ground, and you just settle down into like an electronic double of your physical self here in Ireland.
Wow. Imagine how you'd be able to mess with people doing that.
Well, listen, guys.
So cheeky. I'd be messing with everybody doing that.
Is it okay? Is it okay if I don't want to take up too much of your time, Lara, because I know that time's of the essence now. But is it okay if I mention the shamanic course, the free shamanic course again?
By all means, please do.
Because it is. The How to Apparition is in part 3 of that course, in the 3rd manual of that course. So listen, guys, anybody that doesn't know, I have 2 free courses. I have a spiritual development course, psychic and spiritual development course that's free. It's a series of 7 videos, and there's homework and all to do. So you can avail of that for free. And I've also got a shamanic course for free as well, Revealing the Shaman Within. I started that in 2004. And then several years ago, I stopped practicing it and started giving it away for free.
Wow.
Yeah, because I've got just too much work to do. So, and I like still be helping people, still be using that to help people. So let them have it for free. So go into my group, Google my group, or not Google my group, search my group on Facebook, Free Shamanism Teachings, Free Shamanism Course Materials by Eliza White Buffalo. Can you get that up for them there?
I've got your website. I'm looking for your
You're
Facebook.
Good at that stuff.
There we go.
Free Shamanism Course Materials, I think it's called, by Eliza White Buffalo. And Free Psychic and Spiritual Development Masterclass.
Wow.
So if you could...
I believe I have it here. Yep.
And or send me a wee message, and I'll
group. I've joined it myself now. Thank you. Yeah. There's the link, everyone.
Because, you know, how to apparition is in that. Now, listen, apparitioning or operating, you could call it, it's not easy. And, you know, if I do it 100 times, I might be successful twice, you know. So, you know, it's not something that, you know, it's not like Harry Potter. You don't just
Look at you with your 1,900 members. Wow.
I've got 1,900 members now. Well, that's because all those people want that for free. Before I started giving it for free, I think it had maybe 1,000 members. Wow.
Very generous of you, Eliza.
Oh, well, I mean, yes, but you see, it gives me joy, doesn't it? And it means that I don't have to spend time teaching the shamanism any longer.
I'm going to copy this as well. There's a
but I do very often post in the group about something, you know, and I'll post about something, especially when people ask me, how do you do this? How do you do that? You know, what's astral projection? What's this? What's that? You know, sort of thing. Very like your own teachings, Lara. You teach about astral projection too.
Yep.
So, yeah. And you might do it a little differently from me. People have
we all do
very different ways of enabling this, putting it into action. But in the long run, it's all about being out of the body, connected to the body by the golden or silver thread. Eliza's been doing this for me for a long time. Jennifer. Oh, Jennifer, hi. Yeah. And Robert Apicius, is he a friend of yours? Robert.
They're all friends. These guys are all friends.
Follower.
Yep.
I first came across Robert in the comments of one of our talks, and he got the course, and now he's like, well, Eliza, what about this? What about this? What about this? No, oh my gosh.
It's nice to have students that are excited about all the things you're teaching.
Oh, it is. Oh, it is, yes. And when somebody does something wonderful and amazing, and they come and they tell me about it, and it makes you so happy.
We are very grateful for, honestly, just having people that we can connect to, that ask questions, and to have a different perspective, you know, because so many of us are kind of new to some of these things, and we love to have as much insight as possible. And so your books are lovely, by the way. I love the art with them, and I'm very excited to read your first book. And I'll have to
do the art.
Let the others as well. I know, it's beautiful. I love the art. It's stunning.
Oh goodness, I haven't got a very good sense of direction.
You have all kinds of interesting lights going today.
The art for this, can you not see it now?
Yep, there you can. Yep, the two roads. Make sure
the art for this book was a huge big painting. It's about 1.5 meters long and about 1 meter high. The painting itself, and it was done by a friend of mine. She'd done a painting for me of me standing almost like in Black Elk's vision, and then there was this wonderful vision in the foreground. You know, that it's there, and during the sunset, during the sunrise.
You can get this on Amazon, yeah.
You can get it on Amazon, or you can get it from my website too, ElizaWhiteBuffalo.com.
Here, I'll drop that as well for everyone.
The second book, I heard the words, in the beginning, there was nothing. I am nothing, yet I am. And it's very almost biblical, you know, like the book of Genesis. It's almost like that, you know, about the word, and you are the word, and the word becomes flesh, and all of that kind of stuff, you know, at the beginning. And it goes into past lives, and it goes into an awful lot of spiritual teaching. I always say to people, this first book will really open your heart and help you heal. People heal with it because it's about your story. And this second book opens your mind and helps you awaken to the truth, to your truth. Then the third book I heard, what was it? I can't remember now. Goodness me. You are going back to your childhood. You are going back to your childhood. And then I started to write from there. This This portrait was done by another artist friend of mine, of me too.
Beautiful.
I have all these portraits done by wonderful artists. I'm surrounded by arty friends, and so she very, very generously allowed me to put it on the cover for the second book. And then this one here was done purposefully. Black Elk asked a lady from Ireland to actually to paint this for us, and she did. So that was wonderful. Isn't it lovely?
It is. It's beautiful.
I tell a lie. No, this was a lady from America. A little
white buffalo on the cover.
This was Michelle Roth from America. Mickey Roth on Facebook. This was hers. And this was the lady from Ireland. And the wee cottage.
Oops, sorry, I hit the wrong button. There you go. Hang on. There you go. There's the link where you can get the books.
Oh, thank you. So the wee cottage is my granny's cottage. And because something happened at my granny's cottage when I was a child, when I was 13, and that's a huge part of the book. It's a huge part of the prophecy. It's a huge part of everybody's prophecy. And so for this wee book, which is such a feel-good book, it's about Rose is the main character based on me, and it's in the future, and Rose is in heaven or in the spirit world, or whatever you like to say. And her granddaughter, Christine, is writing to her on her computer. She's writing letters to Rose, and Rose is answering back. So she's channeling Rose back. And there's so much spiritual answers in this book. It's crammed full of stuff about the spirit world, about twin flames, about the prophecy itself, about soulmates and about soul family and all of that sort of stuff. So, and as I say, the first words was, I saw the star and I heard, you are beautiful where you are. And she was at the cottage. She was at the cottage. So it's lovely. Beautiful books they are, even if I say so myself. Yeah. They're doing very well. Particularly the first book is selling very well. And they're apparently the publishing company say that they're on the set to being a bestseller. And they were giving me all of these wonderful ways of publishing, which costs money, of course. And I was going, no, I don't advertise. I don't do that, except for today. I don't do that. I just, people find my books and they want them and they read them, and they read the first one, then read them all. And that's how they're selling, word of mouth. And that's fine by me, because my books were not written to earn money. They were written to heal my soul and help me evolve on my spiritual journey. And so I share it with others, because obviously it's not just about me, it's about everybody. So.
Oh, it's lovely. Jennifer says Eliza also has an adorable children's book to help kids make sense of their chakras and emotions.
Did I not bring that with me?
Oh, that's lovely.
No, I didn't. Oh, here it is. I did. It's on the floor. Who said? Oh, Jennifer.
It was Jennifer.
Jennifer said that. Yeah. Maria and the Purple World.
That's beautiful.
Look, and see, in the second book, The Fourth Sense, one of the lifetimes that I had was as a little Mexican girl called Maria. At the time when that city, Teotihuacan, was being unearthed in the 18th century, I think it was. And I was a little Mexican girl there. So that was one of the Fourth Sense, one of the lifetimes that Black Elk remembered as well. And so I died when I was 4, and it was a very poignant and very intense lifetime. And little Maria was very capable of astral projection, and she used to astrally project to the stars, and she'd see it like these were all these 7 worlds, and there was the purple world and the blue world and the yellow world and the red world and the green world.
The lights are changing behind you as you say that. The colors are coming in as you're saying.
Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice? So it's a lovely wee story, and it's a kind of like a wee interactive book. So the parent reads it to the child, and the parent is interacting with the story of the book and getting the child to interact with it to help them to come into their confidence, their self-esteem, their feelings of being loved, of being secure, and all these self-expression and all of that there sort of three-dimensional chakra stuff, you know.
Yeah.
So it's I think it's great for wee children. It's really kind of, I think the eldest child that would read it would perhaps be about 7 or 8.
Okay.
You know, then they're kind of like, oh, that's baby stuff, you know.
Yeah, that's good. You got to start them somewhere.
You got to start them somewhere. But start them when they're small. Start them when they're small.
I'm going to share your link one more time for everybody. This is where you can pick up the books if you guys would like a copy. And you can also check Amazon if that also makes it easier. Thank you so much for today, Eliza. Really, I love hanging out with you. It's
You're very welcome
to see you.
There's also on my website, there's also a lot of free ebooks there as well. And the first book, The Two Roads, you can have for free in ebook form, not in hard form. But I love giving stuff for free. It's my way of balancing the abundance that flows in my life.
Yeah.
So I give a lot of help in this way, in books and in courses. Give it all for free, and it's hugely beneficial for balancing my energy.
Love that. Well, there's her website.
So much.
ElizaWhiteBuffalo.com. Perfect. Thank you so much. I'm gonna have to run because I have a meeting in 5 minutes or less, actually. So thank you guys.
Thank you so much. Always beautiful, always wonderful to see you, Lara, and I'll see you all again sometime, hopefully.
Yep, definitely. We'll have you back soon. Thank you, Eliza. I love
Big
you guys.
We'll
see you all tomorrow. Have a great day. See you guys soon.
Bye. 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 Bye.